Stop looking for the secret of wealth in self-help books or manifestation rituals. The reason you haven't reached your next financial level isn't a lack of luck. It's not a lack of connections, and it is certainly not because the universe is against you. The problem is biological. Your brain was programmed through millennia of evolution to keep you exactly where you are, in the safety of mediocrity. In the next few minutes, I will reveal how to hack the survival instinct that is sabotaging your bank account. What you are about to hear is not motivational. It is surgical. If you seek comfort, this content is not for you. But if you seek the code of the fatal mind, listen to every word. Your perception of money will never be the same. Observe nature. A predator does not waste energy. He doesn't try to hunt, he positions himself. In the modern economy, money does not flow to those who work the hardest. It flows to those who possess the coldest mental architecture. While most people operate in what neuroscience calls the reactive brain, reacting to bills, reacting to crises, and reacting to fear, the 1% operates in the architectural brain. They don't attract money, they build vacuum systems for value. To enter this game, you must first understand the shadow of wealth. Money has a frequency, and it is not the frequency of passive gratitude. It is the frequency of conscious dominance. Many tell you to feel as if you are already rich, but your subconscious is a biological lie detector. If you try to deceive your brain while your account is in the red, you create a frequency conflict that generates more anxiety, not more wealth. The true fatal mind does not try to attract. It eliminates the neural blocks that repel opportunity. Scarcity is a virus installed in your operating system since childhood. Phrases like money is hard or those who have much are never happy are not just popular sayings. They are fortified synapses acting as a handbrake on your material life. Have you noticed that truly powerful people rarely flaunt their wealth the way the system teaches you to desire? Real wealth is silent. It hides in invisibility. When you understand how money moves through the hidden layers of society, you realize that the visible economy is merely a theater to keep the masses occupied. The secret they will never reveal is that the system needs you to be an emotional consumer, because cold and analytical people are impossible to control. Now, let us descend into the basement of your mind and identify the exact point where you are leaking financial energy. Your survival brain, the reptilian complex, loathes uncertainty. To it, having a lot of money saved is a risk because wealth attracts attention, and in the wild world, attention attracted predators. Therefore, every time you begin to accumulate, your self-preservation instinct creates a need to spend or a form of self-sabotage to return you to the level of safety it knows. For your biology, being poor is safe because you are invisible to threats. Being rich requires a new biology, a capacity to sustain the weight of visibility and power without suffering a nervous collapse. Most of the successful executives and entrepreneurs you admire are not necessarily smarter than you. They have simply learned to silence the noise of biological fear. They have transformed anxiety into a radar for opportunities. The fatal mind does not see a crisis as a danger, but as a rearrangement of capital molecules. Money never disappears, it simply changes hands. If it is not in your hand right now, it is because your neural configuration is signaling to the market that you are a risk zone, a leaking vessel that cannot contain the pressure of abundance. To cure the virus of scarcity, you must perform what I call the great quantum cleaning. This means looking at your history and identifying where your desire was castrated. Where were you taught that desiring the top was greed? Where were you told that spirituality and matter cannot occupy the same space? This fragmentation of your psyche is what keeps you small. The soul wants expansion, but the ego wants protection. As long as these two are not aligned under the command of a fatal mind, you will remain a mere spectator of others' wealth. Material wealth is the exact reflection of your ability to exercise sovereignty over your own time and your own energy. If you sell your time for a fixed amount, you are still a slave to someone else's architecture. The sovereign mind understands that time is the ultimate asset, and that money is merely the lubricant that allows that time to be spent in high performance. The first step to hacking the system is to stop working for money and start making money work to buy your time back. To move from the psychology of the masses to the architecture of the elite, you must master the art of neural recalibration. This is not about positive thinking. It is about cognitive violence against your old self. You must identify the specific moments when your pulse quickens at the thought of a large investment or a bold move. That physical reaction is your scarcity software trying to reboot. When you feel that tension, you must learn to lean into it. The fatal mind views physiological stress as the smell of blood in the water. It is a signal that a breakthrough is imminent. Most people retreat at this point. You, however, will remain motionless until the system yields. The true currency of the elite is not gold or digital digits. It is social intelligence and the ability to read the energy of power. You must stop seeing people as friends or enemies and start seeing them as nodes in a network of value. Every interaction is a data point. When you walk into a room, don't look for acceptance. Look for the structure of authority. Who holds the influence? Who is the leaking vessel? By positioning yourself as the observer, you stop being a pawn in other people's narratives and start writing the script of your own material expansion. This is what it means to be a mental architect. You design the reality that others are forced to inhabit. The concept of the self-made man is a myth designed to keep you exhausted. No one builds an empire alone. The fatal mind understands the law of leverage. You leverage other people's time, other people's money, and other people's talent. But you can only do this when your own frequency is cleared of the guilt of taking. If you feel unworthy of high-level service, the market will treat you as a servant. Wealth is a game of permission. The moment you stop asking for permission to be powerful, the doors that were once locked will begin to dissolve. The system only bows to those who do not recognize its chains. Now look at your current financial reality. It is a perfect mirror of your internal limitations. If your income has plateaued, it is because you have reached the limit of the pressure your current identity can handle. To expand the container, you must break the glass. This requires a period of isolation, a sensory deprivation from the opinions of the mediocre. You cannot build a high-performance life while listening to the frequencies of people who are content with survival. Your environment is either a laboratory for your growth or a tomb for your potential. Choose your nodes wisely. As we reach the final layer of this transmission, understand that the window of opportunity for this specific quantum shift is narrow. The world is becoming more polarized, and the middle ground is disappearing. You are either a designer of your destiny or a product of someone else's plan. There is no third option. The wealth you seek is already seeking you, but it cannot find you in the vibration of the old self. You must die to who you were to become the one who possesses everything. This is the ultimate sacrifice the fatal mind makes, the sacrifice of comfort for the sake of sovereignty. To seal this frequency and signal to the collective consciousness that you have accepted this new architecture, you must act now. Do not just listen. Command the space around you. If you are ready to stop being a spectator and start being the architect of your own empire, declare it. Type the words "I am the architect of my reality" in the comments below. By doing this, you are not just writing text. You are anchoring a physical action to a mental decision. This is how the fatal mind operates. It moves the world through intention and action. Subscribe to this frequency to ensure your mental software is updated daily. We are building an egregora of individuals who refuse to be limited by the biological trap of scarcity. Share this. To understand why your mind is programmed for poverty, we must look at the concept of financial homeostasis. Just as your body maintains a constant temperature, your subconscious maintains a constant level of wealth. If you unexpectedly receive more money than your internal thermostat is set for, your brain perceives this as a fever, a biological anomaly. It immediately triggers a cooling mechanism, impulsive spending, sudden accidents, or a paralysis of will. You aren't failing because you're lazy. You're failing because your brain is trying to bring you back to the room temperature of poverty it was programmed to accept as safe. To change your life, you don't need a better job. You need to rip out the thermostat and replace it with a new architecture of heat. This brings us to the psychology of social signaling. Most people spend their lives signaling to their tribe that they are good and compliant. But wealth is inherently non-compliant. To accumulate mass, you must be willing to be the anomaly in the system. The fatal mind understands that the approval of the mediocre is a tax on your potential. If everyone around you understands your decisions, you are playing a small game. The elite move in shadows not just for privacy, but because their logic operates on a frequency that the average mind literally cannot process. They speak in the language of outcome, while the masses speak in the language of effort. Effort is a cost. Outcome is the only currency that matters. We must also deconstruct the alchemy of the void. In physics, a vacuum must be filled. The same applies to your financial reality. If you want to attract $20 million, you must first create a $20 million hole in your life. This means ruthlessly eliminating everything that is good enough. The comfortable apartment, the steady but limited income, the safe friendships, these are the fillers that prevent the void from existing. The fatal mind is comfortable with emptiness. It knows that by clearing the space, it forces the universe to reorganize itself around a higher level of abundance. This is the terror of the transition, standing in the void, completely alone, trusting that your internal architecture is strong enough to pull the reality you want into existence. Finally, realize that neural resilience is the final frontier. The system will test your new programming. You will face moments of extreme pressure where every cell in your body screams for you to return to the safety of the old self. This is the initiation. In these moments, you must realize that you are not the one feeling the fear. You are the one observing the fear. By detaching from the biological reaction, you prove to the market that you are a vessel capable of holding immense power. You are no longer a consumer of reality. You have become the factory where reality is produced. The era of the fatal mind is not a destination. It is a permanent state of sovereign expansion. Breathe in the cold air of this realization. You are no longer programmed for poverty. You are the programmer. To fully transition into the architecture of the elite, we must examine the neurochemical addiction to struggle. Most people are not just mentally programmed for poverty, they are biologically addicted to the stress of it. Cortisol, the stress hormone, becomes a familiar drug. When you start to succeed, your brain misses the high of the crisis, and it subconsciously creates a new disaster to get its next fix. This is the ultimate sabotage. To break this, you must develop what I call neural resilience. You must become comfortable with the silence of success. You must learn to exist in a state of high-frequency calm, where money flows in without the need for the hustle and grind that the system taught you to value. The elite do not grind, they align. They understand that a single hour of high-level strategic alignment is worth more than 1,000 hours of low-level labor. Let's discuss the concept of asymmetric risk. The masses are taught to play it safe, to look for steady increments and guaranteed returns. But the fatal mind looks for the tilt in the field. We look for situations where the downside is limited, but the upside is infinite. This is the filter of the 1%. While the average person is calculating how to save $10, the architect is calculating how to leverage 10,000 into 10 million. This requires a complete detachment from the emotional weight of currency. You must view capital as fuel, not as a security blanket. If you are afraid to burn the fuel, you will never reach escape velocity. The gravitational pull of the mediocre is strong, and only the explosion of a fatal decision can break you free from its orbit. You must also address the nodes of power in your environment. You are the sum of the frequencies you allow into your field. If your inner circle consists of people who are still operating on the survival software, they will act as anchors on your ascent. This is not about arrogance. It is about frequency management. You cannot maintain a $20 million mindset in a $20,000 environment. The friction will eventually wear you down. The fatal mind is ruthless in its curation of its network. You must seek out the nodes that vibrate higher than you, even if it makes you feel uncomfortable. That discomfort is the sound of your boundaries expanding. If you are the most powerful person in the room, you are in the wrong room. Furthermore, consider the law of intentional invisibility. True power does not seek the spotlight, it creates the light. The most influential architects of our reality are names you have never heard. They operate in the quiet spaces between the noise of the media and the chaos of the markets. By remaining invisible, they maintain total sovereignty. When you feel the urge to brag about your wins, you are signaling a need for validation from the system. The fatal mind finds validation in the result, not in the applause. The more silent you become, the more resonance your actions carry. This is the silence of the apex predator. It is the silence of the storm before it breaks. Finally, realize that the solution to your psychic fragmentation is the total integration of your will. You must stop being a collection of conflicting desires. You must become a single, pointed arrow of intention. Most people want wealth, but they also want to stay liked by people who hate wealth. They want power, but they are afraid of the responsibility that comes with it. This internal war is why you are plateaued. The architect has no internal conflict. He has accepted his role, he has accepted his shadow, and he has accepted his destiny. From this point of unity, reality becomes soft. It becomes malleable. You are no longer pushing against the world. The world is moving to accommodate your presence. This is the final initiation. The gate is open, but only the one who has discarded the beggar's cloak can pass through. You are now the master of the code. You are the fatal mind. To reach the absolute peak of this neural recalibration, we must deconstruct your relationship with the most finite resource in the universe, time. The masses are programmed to operate within chronos, linear sequential time. They trade hours for currency, a transaction that is inherently rigged against them. The fatal mind, however, operates in kairos, the opportune moment of total alignment. The elite do not work more hours, they increase the density of their minutes. 1 second of a high-frequency decision can outweigh 10 years of low-frequency labor. To escape the poverty trap, you must stop being a victim of the clock and start being the architect of your own timeline. You must learn to collapse time. When you move with total certainty, the delays that the system imposes on the mediocre simply cease to exist for you. This leads us to the concept of cognitive decoupling. You have been socialized to believe that your worth is tied to your effort. This is the ultimate poison. The market does not care about your effort. It only cares about the complexity of the problems you solve and the value you provide. The architect understands that the more invisible their effort, the more powerful their result. You must develop the ability to remain still while the world around you is in chaos. This stillness is not passive. It is the focused tension of a predator waiting for the exact millisecond to strike. If you are constantly busy, you are signaling to the universe that you are a servant. Sovereignty is found in the gaps between actions. It is in those moments of silence that the most profound shifts in your financial reality are engineered. Now, we must address the psychic shadow of debt. Most people view debt as a financial burden, but the fatal mind understands that the real burden is the energetic debt you owe to your past. Every time you say, "I can't afford this," or "maybe next year," you are fortifying a psychic contract with mediocrity. You are telling your subconscious that your current limitations are more real than your future potential. To break this contract, you must perform a total neural foreclosure. You must evict every thought, every person, and every habit that does not pay rent in the fortress of your new reality. This is the cold geometry of success. There is no room for sentimentality in the architecture of power. As we conclude this transmission, realize that you are now at the threshold of a new existence. The old self, the one programmed for poverty and survival, has been systematically dismantled over the last 22 minutes. What remains is a void, and that void is your greatest asset. Do not rush to fill it with old patterns. Stay in the silence. Let the new architecture of the fatal mind anchor itself in your nervous system. You are no longer a person trying to get rich. You are a sovereign entity who has realized that wealth is the natural byproduct of your own internal order. The world will now begin to reflect this order back to you. Opportunities that were once invisible will now appear as obvious paths. Capital that was once out of reach will now gravitate toward your frequency. This is your final initiation. The legacy of your bloodline changes today. You are the architect of the invisible, the master of the code, and the keeper of the fatal mind. Go forth and command the reality you have designed. The silence is over. Your era has begun.